Nobody chasing the truth.
So let's listen to the racist Ryan Clark just spew his hate for Josh Allen. He tries to indicate that Josh Allen was the entire reason for the Buffalo Bills losing last night. See, when you're a racist, instead of focusing on the facts and being objective about the game, these are the types of things you'll say. Isaiah Pacheco averaged 6.5 yards a carry last night against the Buffalo Bills defense. The Buffalo Bills also went for a fake punt on 4th and 5 from their own 40-yard line, which failed. There was a field goal that was missed. And Travis Kelce, he played his best game of the year. Last night he had 2 touchdowns, and one of them he was wide open in the end zone. And when you're giving up that much yards in the running game, you start to creep up in the line of scrimmage, and then you get hit with a tight end deep. That's exactly what happened. But Ryan Clark, this is typical Ryan Clark. 24 hours a day on ESPN. This is what he does. It's all about race all the time. That's why I cannot watch ESPN anymore. So let's get into the video and go from there.
What is the first thing we say coming out of that matchup between those two quarterbacks?
I mean, an all-time classic. Again, every time these two cats go at it, and we mentioned just then because...
Did you see him put his head down already? You can feel the tension in the air because nobody's allowed to say anything positive about Josh Allen because crybaby Ryan Clark, he'll just jump up and down and start screaming over everybody and show his true little racist self.
It really is about the two most talented guys we've ever seen play the position. But, the game lived up to everything we were wanting it to, and unfortunately for the Bills, it's just a few missed opportunities and a couple of deep balls. They just make a play on one of those things. Are we looking at a different game? But man, oh man, as a fan of this game, I wish we get to see it again.
Yeah. It sucks that someone has to lose.
Yeah.
Watch this tension.
Yeah, y'all didn't do what y'all was supposed to do.
What you want?
That ain't. This game was what it was supposed to be. This game was about the two most talented quarterbacks in the entire world going back and forth. And we've seen it before. We saw it in the divisional playoff round a few years ago, which was why we named this the new Brady-Manning competition, right? The new Brady-Manning saga. But when we look at this game, once again, Patrick Mahomes beats Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And we sit on this show and we consistently say how great Josh Allen is, and I agree. But we start to grade Josh Allen on a curve. When we were on the call this morning, it felt like I was listening to LeBron fans before he took his talent to South Beach. It was Josh did this and Josh did that. We were on the phone for 20 minutes and Greeny didn't even know I was on the phone because y'all waxed poetically about how great the loser of this game was.
He is great.
Rightfully so.
He is great.
It was
RC, this is the second time we've watched this guy go head-to-head against Patrick, and he's been inarguably, at worst, the second best player in the field, if not the best player in the field, and lost both times. Both times because he was let down. He was let down a couple years ago by the defense with 13 seconds, and he was let down yesterday by 3 massive drops in that football game.
Orlowski, you got to do a better job of prepping for this. Forget the drops, because the drops are going to be debatable. What's not debatable is when you average 6.5 yards a carry in the NFL, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the football game because it opens everything else up. Josh Allen's not on defense. He can't make the tackle. How come nobody's talking about the fake punt on 4th and 5 from their own 40-yard line that the Bills try to give to Damar Hamlin so they could have this big Disneyland store? Nobody's talking about the punt, the fake punt that was stopped, that set the Chiefs up again in short field position. And then they miss a field goal to tie the game up, but somehow this is Josh Allen's fault? Well, according to Ryan Clark, this is Josh Allen's fault. I really think that Ryan Clark despises Josh Allen because he reminds him of Ben Roethlisberger in every type of way, the size, the way he moves around, and all the crybabies in Pittsburgh like Ryan Clark and Rashard Mendenhall that go around and say that Big Ben is a racist because, he used to call Antonio Brown out for his garbage. And when Antonio Brown would not, show up for practice, or when he did show up for practice and pull his garbage or not know the plays, Big Ben threw the football at his feet. Isn't that what Rashard Mendenhall said? He was a racist, Big Ben, because he used to throw the football at Antonio Brown's feet when he didn't know the plays. Interesting.
The difference in his game in many ways comes down to one quarterback, Patrick, had his guys make plays, and one quarterback didn't. That's a perfect throw to Sherfield down the left sideline. That ends up in a drop. Kansas City defender does not.
So Watson wasn't there to make that a hard catch.
Perfect throw on Sherfield on 3rd and 15.
I ain't never seen a perfect throw where you had to lay out laterally to catch it.
This is a perfect throw to set.
Both of those balls, Josh Allen gave the receiver a chance to catch the ball because it hit them. The ball hit the receiver's hands. Anytime the ball hits the receiver's hands, since the time you're in Pop Warner, if the ball hits your hand, you're supposed to catch that football, and Ryan Clark knows that. But when your objective is always, from a racial standpoint, the truth, the facts, statistics don't matter to somebody like Ryan Clark.
That's a perfect throw.
Perfect throw.
That's a perfect throw.
The one to Sherfield, the playbook, that's 65 yards in the air.
Hey, that's a perfect throw.
But we don't make one of those.
But so here's my question.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want to come here and we want to defend Josh Allen. You don't have to defend it.
Yeah.
You can say straight up, Josh Allen is an absolute dude.
Right.
Josh Allen has shown up for this team when he's needed to, except for when he's needed to most. Josh Allen took the checkdowns the entire game.
Yeah.
I get it. To you, it's the right throw, and it can be the right throw. But if it's the right throw, you have to make it. And yes, Bass misses the field goal, but if we take the crosser and we get a catch and run, and we get a little further, we now give ourselves more downs so Patrick Mahomes doesn't get the ball.
Yeah.
And if we do kick it, it's not kicking it from where it is in the elements. Here's the truth.
Okay.
The last 2 years, right, the Buffalo Bills have done what they've had to do to have the divisional game in their stadium.
Yep.
Joe Burrow came there, he walked into your trap, and he took over your trap. Patrick Mahomes came in there,
whatever,
he walked
man.
in your trap,
Yeah,
and he took
okay.
over your trap.
Trap,
At
yeah.
some point, Josh Allen is going to have to beat the other great quarterbacks in the AFC. Everybody else, the other quarterbacks, we're 5-0. 0-3 against Patrick, 0-1 against Joe, and the one against Joe is at our crib. At some point, y'all gotta say he's coming up short.
Nobody else on set is allowed to speak but Ryan Clark. If anybody else has an opinion, he will scream at the top of his lungs, jump up and down, cry. This is the same tough guy that couldn't work with Sage Steele because Sage Steele is openly conservative, supports the military, the troops, and the flag, refused to work with her because he was so threatened and his feelings were hurt. You know, big tough guy Ryan Clark.
We don't say Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because he's the most talented.
But in part,
it's because he's the best when he needs to be the best.
But in part, because Adam
Nobody can hear you, Ryan. You need to scream louder.
Terry made some huge kicks when they mattered the most. RC, there's no way that we watched that game and yesterday, just to put into context. Listen, I'll give you the 3rd and 9 throw. I'll give you that Josh needed to make.
See, he's making that dismissive face, Clark, because when you stick to facts and statistics, for somebody that's racist as hell like Ryan Clark, your mind just can't comprehend it. You know, you just go into attack mode and you either make fun of people, curse at them, attack them, or dismiss them. And that's what Ryan Clark does.
One more throw or one more decision. He's going up against a top 3 defense without, I don't think Steph has played like a number 1 receiver right now in football.
Okay, I get
Gabe Davis not in it. So he's out without at least his number 2. Steph not playing to that elite level ball. Kansas City's top 3 defense, 27 first downs. That's the most anybody's had against Kansas City this year. No sacks. No one's done that against Kansas City this year. They scored on 50% of their possessions. They ran for 182 yards, and they had 3 drives. 3 drives of 75 yards or more than touchdowns that no one did against Kansas City.
I understand. And that all started with James Cook.
But as a huge part of it, that we're not. But
Wow. If you can't see, why is he saying it started with James Cook? Why does he have such a problem saying that Josh Allen is one of the elite quarterbacks? You know why? Well, I know why. 2 different reasons. He reminds him of Big Ben, and then the big elephant in the room, that Ryan Clark is a racist. Then that's what Ryan Clark is.
I'm not going
Josh Allen ain't rushed for 180 too.
But I'm not going to let
He
you
rushed
sit
for
here.
2 touchdowns.
I'm not
here and say
blaming
Patrick Mahomes and not say Pacheco.
I'm not blaming the loss on Josh Allen. I don't believe
He's not blaming the loss on Josh Allen? Well, I'm about 6 minutes into the video, and that's all he's been doing. So let's stick to the facts once again. Pacheco averaged 6.5 yards a carry. He had 65 yards. When you can run the football like that, it opens up everything else. Josh Allen's not on defense. Josh Allen didn't go for a fake punt on 4th and 5 from their own 40. Josh Allen didn't leave Travis Kelce wide open in the end zone. Josh Allen didn't miss a field goal to tie up the football game. But let's just blame Josh Allen for everything when it's bad. And then when anything else goes good, we're not going to say he had anything to do with it. We're going to say it was Dalvin Cook. I wonder why you're saying that, Ryan Clark. He's one of the most pathetic human beings on the entire planet because he's obsessed with race. 24 hours a day, race is on Ryan Clark's mind because he's a racist. That's what racists do. They just can't stop thinking about race all day long.
that Josh Allen is the reason this team lost. I don't believe that. You know what the grades
Interesting.
are? The reason the team wins.
So you
and
think
for
that's-
Josh Allen, I don't care. It does not matter that he played well. What matters is that he's at his house. That's what matters. For whatever year it is, Josh Allen is at his house. And we can talk about Adam Vinatieri. You can say that kickers make kicks. Defenses show up. That's not why we give people these gold jackets and put them in different places in the Hall of Fame. It's not why when it's time to present Tom Brady,
Josh Allen had 50 touchdowns this year. 50 touchdowns. This isn't Pop Warner. This isn't high school football. This is the National Football League, if you needed me to remind you. But somebody as racist as Ryan Clark, that's the way you have to speak to him. This is the National Football League where a quarterback had 50 touchdowns. Let that sink in. This isn't college football.
presenter is going to say, hey guys, I present to you Tom Brady. I rest my freaking case. Josh Allen is an immense talent, and Josh Allen will probably win a Super Bowl one day. But we have to say that he's coming up short as far as it pertains to greatness.
He's done every dang thing but win those things. The last four losses. But the last four losses, they averaged
Rex, when are you going to learn? Nobody's allowed to talk with Ryan Clark. Nobody's allowed to speak on the set.
giving up 34 points a game, and that's Josh Allen's fault? Like, Josh, this is a crazy, like, here's a little number here. Second best TD to interception ratio in the playoffs, in playoff history.
Yeah.
Except for Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
They're 21-4. 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. By the way, he also gets 56 yards a game rushing.
Yeah.
Like, so to me, the kid does everything but play damn defense.
Right.
And that to me is like, that's where I look at, like, guys,
You know what?
you would have killed for this damn guy.
James Harden has hellified stats too.
Yeah, but what is
James
it?
Harden has
Oh.
a lot of great stats as well.
RC, this is Ali Frazier. And one day Frazier's going to land the left hook, RC, and he's going to beat one of these damn guys.
He's been knocked out. Josh Allen and the
I don't know how anybody can work with Ryan Clark on a daily basis, but he's just being a hateful racist. That's it. I don't know how anybody entertains him on a daily basis. He's not dumb because he knows exactly what he's doing and what he's saying, and he knows exactly the reason why he's saying it. But it's a big elephant in the room will never be discussed or brought up because we don't want Ryan Clark to, break down in tears and go crazy that he's the victim here.
Bills, because we can't say that he's coming up short. The Bills, absolutely. They have lost to Kansas City 3 times. They've been knocked out by Kansas City 3 times. In those 3 games, he alone is 306 yards of offense, 22-1. There is one quarterback in the history of the NFL that has had a season, including the playoffs, to account for 50 touchdowns and not get to the conference title game. Josh Allen's done it twice. Twice. There's no way that we could walk away from yesterday's game and sit there and say, Josh Allen came up short. I will give you the 3rd and 9. I'll give you that, and I'll agree with you that. but he was let down.
He's not perfect.
What did you always tell me? You know what? When the defense came back on the field, they were winning. Josh Allen left the field, and they were not this time. This time, he had the ball in his hand. He had the opportunity.
I'm going to give you that.
Let's look at the two plays. Let's look at the 2 plays.
Yeah,
Let's look at the 2nd and 9. Dan, this one here. Is that on Allen or
No, there is no. Josh is trying to go win the football game. If he throws that shallow cross to Steph, maybe he gets 4 or 5 yards. Dawkins is getting pushed by Chris Jones. It's a great battle. That's why that throw misses. This is the 3rd down. Now he resets to the middle field. We're going to break this down in detail. He resets, ends up throwing away. I'll give you that you'd love to sit there and say, get to Kincaid in the slot. Not
That's difficult.
guy.
That's tough.
Get to Kincaid in the slot. Now maybe it becomes 4th and 1 and 4th and 2.
Here's the tape.
Here's the plays. Now watch as Steph goes in motion. You're going to see there's a post by Shakir in the slot. Now the linebacker's saying push it. He's trying to find that ball. If he doesn't get pushed back, there's enough air to get that ball to Shakir. Again, if he throws it to Steph, I don't think it's a first down at all. Now watch Kincaid, because he's going to peek to the bottom of the screen. He's got a go route. It's not there. Look at the slot. He's maybe trying to move for Steph on the post. If he gets right now to reset to Kincaid, I think it becomes a bang-bang play with him and that middle linebacker Bolton of does he get the first down or not? And then I think it becomes decision-making time for McDermott. Do we go for it or not? I think they would have. That's the play where I'll sit there and I say, he was unbelievable. I think he was the best player on the field last night. I need one more decision. I got to do my job, honestly. One more decision, I'll give you that.
See, the one I think the
second
Chris
round?
Jones hits runs into a pocket.
Right.
You wish that Josh, because I've seen him do it a million times, feel the pressure a little bit, buy just a little bit more. Tom Brady used to do it all the time, and then pow, it's a touchdown. Like, I would have loved to have seen him do that. I think that's the one he's going to regret more than any of them.
Yeah.
And then, and not alibiing for the guy, but I wish they would have sat back and said, you know what, hey, possible 4 down. I think if the coach reiterates, hey,
Explain
possible
that.
4 down. What I mean by it, it's a 3rd down on the play that you showed the scramble.
Sure.
He's clearly looking for touchdown there.
Right.
All right. However, if you say possible 3rd down, now I'm more likely to take that underneath and now face a 4th down. Because why? RC, we know we don't want to give Patrick Mahomes the ball with a minute 40 left.
Right.
No
Not the way
way,
he's playing.
no how. So to me, I'm thinking, I'm not looking field goal here. And neither was Josh. Clearly, Josh was thinking touchdown. But in that situation, look, the worst thing that happened is we could take some money right there and then set up a 4th
The fine
down.
line is the play in the red zone when he scrambles to his left and has that unbelievable throw and catch to Shakir. You could sit there and say, "Oh, why don't you throw a check down?" This and that. That's the world you live in with those guys. Like he's Patrick, Lamar, Josh. That's the world you live in, where you sit there and say, "Rare, super talent, unbelievable
That's crazy.
throw," and it's hard to sit there and go, "Well, you should have taken
that
it."
is stupid.
You
That
know,
is-
because if
no,
it makes
it-
another play, you sit there and go, "Oh my
That
gosh."
play is not even human. Here's the thing, RC. Here's the
I
thing.
played with a guy like that. Like,
Right.
and Ben wasn't as talented as Josh, but Ben's a Hall of
He's always got to take a dig at Big Ben because all the racists in Pittsburgh, Rashard Mendenhall and Ryan Clark, they all claim that Big Ben was racist because Antonio Brown, when he used to act a fool, which it was known in Pittsburgh for years that Mike Tomlin was covering for all his foolishness, he would come to practice Antonio Brown. He would curse out Coach LeBeau. Even Troy Polamalu wanted to fight Antonio Brown in practice for his disrespect towards the coaches. But according to Ryan Clark and Rashard Mendenhall, Big Ben was racist because he threw the ball at Antonio's feet when he didn't know the right plays. So according to Ryan Clark and Rashard Mendenhall, that's what made Big Ben a racist. So this is just typical Ryan Clark that not only is he taking shots at Josh Allen, he's got to take a shot at Big Ben, and the reason why he's taking shots at both of them is because Big Ben and Josh Allen remind Ryan Clark of each other. That's why he's doing it. And he knows that's why he's doing it.
Famer. And we would sit on the sideline, and there were some times Ben would get outside the pocket or he'd do something, and we'd say, well, you got to live with it. Because we've seen him so many other times win us games in that manner. The thing was, and yes, we were great defensively, the thing was, Ben won games, right? We're playing against the Baltimore Ravens. Yes?
May I? You had the best defense in the whole freaking league when it's winning all those games.
That's right.
They wouldn't have stopped Kansas City yesterday if you would put you on the field.
squashes your point.
And James Harrison and guys, something has.
Yeah, we have to always treat Ryan Clark with kids' gloves, right? So you told an accurate statistic. Big Ben had the best defense in the entire league. If Josh Allen has the best as a Steeler defense behind him, Pacheco don't average 6.5 yards a carry. Kelsey doesn't get wide open in the end zone. You don't have to go for a fake punt on 4th and 5 from your own 35-yard line. You don't got to do any of that. But all these facts don't matter to Ryan Clark because he only sees one thing, and that's race. That's Ryan Clark.
Has to be said here, okay? I was doing talk shows after all those Brady Super Bowls. Do you know how many Super Bowls Brady could have won? He could have won 9 if Wes Welker catches one ball. My husband can't throw it and catch it at the same time. If David Tyree doesn't have one stick to his freaking helmet, and if his defense makes one stop against the Eagles, Brady threw for 500 yards. His team didn't punt, and they lost. And we didn't come in here the next day and say Tom Brady didn't get it done. Josh Allen was brilliant yesterday. His kicker missed a kick. His coach ran a fake punt for no reason I can ever think of. His best receiver dropped the ball that he absolutely should have caught. And his defense.
Why do you guys keep forgetting the rushing stat? It's the most important stat. The run opens up everything else in the passing game. If a back is averaging 6.5 yards a carry, which Pacheco was, he only carried the ball 10 times. The safeties and everybody else starts creeping up to the line of scrimmage, worried about the run, and then they hit you with the tight end in the back of the end zone, and that's exactly what happened. But let's just forget that stat too, or that fact. Everybody has to treat Ryan Clark with kids' gloves and not call him out for his garbage.
Will never. If they were still out there now, they wouldn't have stopped them. Kansas City would have scored 100 points in that game.
Guess what? It was the same thing for the Bills for the first 3 quarters. The Bills were going up and down the football field for the first 3 quarters, as were the Kansas City Chiefs. And when the Kansas City Chiefs finally get a stop, was Patrick Mahomes on the sideline upset because McCole Hardman does something that's a cardinal sin within the red zone, which is trying to reach across the goal line when you have another snap. No, you have to go back out and play football. Yeah. I'm not saying that Josh Allen is not a very talented quarterback. I'm not saying that if you told me you get to go play with Josh Allen, I wouldn't strap my helmet up every day and say, we got a chance to beat anybody.
He can't make up his mind what side he's on because he's probably sitting there realizing how stupid he sounds from the first 8 minutes of the ridiculous things that he was saying. So now he flip-flops. I'm not saying he's not a great... Yeah, that's what you were saying. You've been saying that the entire video.
Because you do. But when we're going to sit on here and just continue to just say, Josh Allen is this, Josh Allen is that, Josh Allen is one of the greatest, at some point, you have to be great enough that when those things go wrong, you find a way to win. And he had the football in his hand with a chance to win. And as great as he'd been the whole day, when we said, no, we're not going to be able to turn around and hand it to 4, he didn't make the plays. He can't kick it. I agree with that. But I feel like at some point, we have to start asking Josh Allen when, in those moments, against those people, and when he does, we get to say all the things we want to. That ain't happened yet.
But the downside I see is 2 years ago, he did outside of 13 seconds. Yesterday,
what was the score of that game?
When you walk off the field throwing a game-winning touchdown with 13 seconds left. 13 seconds left. That game is over.
And last year,
okay, so question.
Joe Burrow walked in and there was a line of scrimmage.
So I have a question, right? Let's say that game, because Kansas City ain't stopped Josh and them either. Gabe Davis, 200-plus yards.
Right.
Were we going to come in here the next day and be like, poor Patrick, you scored 33 points. You had all of these yards. Your defense, no, you wouldn't have.
No.
You wouldn't have said that. But for Josh, we do.
But we wouldn't have said, we would not have taken anything away from the greatness of his performance.
Right.
And that's what
exactly.
I'm concerned about. Obviously, Allen's team didn't win the game. Obviously, he didn't win the game.
Great performance, Josh.
But there were so many reasons they lost.
Hey,
and
Josh.
none of them.
Like, you see what a punk he is? Like, he's just great performance, like being a smartass. But we all got to put up with you yelling and screaming and jumping out of your chair. Everybody with a brain in their head knows exactly why you're talking about Josh Allen the way you do, and it has nothing to do with football. The big tough guy, crybaby Ryan Clark, that's a victim 24 hours a day. The big tough guy that can't work with Sage Steele. The big tough guy that got mad at Mad Dog because Mad Dog allegedly raised his voice to Ryan Clark and, he's not the one and, he's going to beat up Mad Dog. And then he was going to beat up Sean Payton last week over Russell Wilson and trying to indicate that the whole Russell Wilson situation was about race when in reality it was about money and business because he's naive about business also. If you didn't think the Broncos organization was telling Sean Payton, hey, make him as uncomfortable as possible, we still got a chance to get that money back, you're fooling yourself. But that's what you deal with when you deal with Ryan Clark and you let him take over ESPN.
He's going to say things about Elway, about Peyton Manning. Eventually,
Josh,
he's going to land
I'm
over.
going to have to bring the jersey over here.
Smoke your stats at your house and your hookah, Josh.
All right.
Smoke your stats at your hookah, Josh. Whatever, man. Ryan Clark is just a piece of garbage, and when you wonder why ESPN's ratings are in the toilet and people just automatically turn off the TV and just don't watch it anymore, Ryan Clark is the reason.